Hey, what's up, Maniacs? Today is the 4th of July, Independence Day. All the guys are with their families. Can't blame them. It's a nice holiday to have. But we took some time off last week and we had some fun already. So we're here today, just Connor and I, do a little recap on what we've done and what we still need to do on this car. And then I might end up working on some things here today. And then we're gonna have to go and grab the motorhome and clean it up and put everything away from the trip last week. So with that, here's what we got. So we're calling this thing the Born Again, Born 49 in. That's what this car is. It's a 1949 Ford Shoebox, and it's being reborn into a modern BMW E92, turbocharged, pretty wild concept. We'll talk about that Born Again in some more detail in a later video. But right now, what we have is, had a list right here going on some of the main things that we needed to hit with this car. So let's start on that. Fixed suspension on BMW. If you guys recall, this BMW was hit when we bought it. So we did that. We replaced the bent pieces on the suspension. Next thing on the list was to drive the car and read the codes on the BMW. It had some error codes, and so we did that. We drove the car. It's in one of the previous episodes. Next on the list was to strip down the BMW. So we removed the glass. That was kind of fun.
I wish I had extra tickets.
We removed the interior, pulled all the body panels off that were able to get removed with bolts, and then we actually cut off the rear quarters. And we did that. Next thing was to cut off the Ford body from its chassis, from its floor actually. And we did that. Mount the Ford body onto the BMW. Obviously that's done. It's sitting here, sitting on the BMW right now. Although that was not one setting, that was probably, gosh, I don't even know, it was weeks and weeks and weeks. Mount the front clip. So I don't have that checked, even though the front clip's sitting on here. We had the front clip off like 15 times too. It's more or less mounted. I'm not gonna check that yet just because I wanna finish that. Next thing is finish welding the chop. So the 49 Ford, we bought it from a guy in Phoenix, Arizona. It was chopped about 20, well now it's probably 21 years ago, and then it's set in the garage. And so someone did a 4-inch chop on it, but it wasn't finished welded, it was just tacked, and there were some pieces missing here and there. So we're still finishing all the stuff. Just last week, Savannah actually was kind of cool. She made this piece right here and bent it, and then Ryan welded it in. So we're making all these little pieces to kind of fit, and then solid welding everything. So that's what this is, not finished yet. Suspension, the car still has factory suspension in it, the BMW. We're looking to partner up with somebody on that. We want to do probably coilovers just so that we can do some adjustments. But we're going to be lowering this thing, so that's what the suspension is. Brakes, we haven't determined who we're going to go with on brakes, but we want to do some performance, big brakes on the car. The car does need a mechanical freshen up, so this BMW has about 110,000 miles on it. It's a 2008 335i. They're known for leaky valve cover gaskets, oil pan gasket, some things like that, and it definitely needs that. The car is leaking oil. So mechanical freshen up, we're going to be working with a shop called Desert Tech, and we're going to do video on all of that. Next thing is a turbo install. We do have the turbo here, like I mentioned in the last video. We did partner up with Garrett Motion on that, and we have a really nice turbo setup. And the turbo install is going to include a whole exhaust manifold, upgrade, replacement, intake manifold. There's a whole bunch of electronic stuff that has to happen there as well. We're working with Berger Tuning on the electronics for that. Next on the list is we want to still build a roll cage for this thing. Wheels, we do have 2 sample wheels of one front and one rear so far here. They're not coated, but the wheels are in the States, and that's a good thing. So we do have them. They just need to get painted and finished. Fenders. So we started to kind of mess around with just some really rough ideas just the other day. We're looking at building some really cool wide fenders, probably 8 or 9 inch width, You know, this would have a lip on it here still. And so this is just a quick idea. I don't know how large they're gonna be, you know, how long they're gonna be that way. But anyway, fenders we still need to build for the car. Interior panels, so we wanna do kind of a race style aluminum panels inside, and we still need to connect the gauges and things like that. We're gonna integrate the 49 dash, which you can see already sitting in here. It actually fits really nicely. We're going to integrate it with some metal panels going down and kind of covering the rest of the BMW, kind of the structural stuff behind the dash there. So glass. Fortunately, all the glass except for the back window on this car is flat. So that makes it really easy to get custom glass cut and still have it, you know, DOT, Department of Transportation approved, because it can be, the front windshield will be laminated, the side windows will be tempered. Flat glass, we want to do a one-piece glass on this, and we went back and forth on how we're going to do the windows, but I think we decided that we're going to try to do just a solid piece of glass on the side. We sourced a back window that needs to get cut down, so we have to buy an original window. What I've learned so far on these 49s is that no one that I know of makes aftermarket parts, like replacement parts, you know, like windows and things like that. So everything you have to source from a junkyard, back from a 49. They do interchange maybe with a 50, maybe even all the way up to a 52, possibly, I think. Anyway, body work. We're gonna have a ton of body work on this car. You know, all the chop stuff, all the fender stuff. The car is already pretty wavy as it is. We have to replace a few rusted panels on it. So tons of body work, and then paint. And paint, wow, man. Been doing a bunch of research on how to do patina, you know, like a faux patina. There's all kinds of ways. I'm not liking some of them, so more about that later. Final reassembly, so once it's all at that point, we need to put the whole car back together. I'd like to shoot a final video of it driving and all together before we get it down to the SEMA show. Chop right there. So this is the inside frames. I'm gonna keep on working on those. There's 4 of them, right? There's 2 back frames and 2 front door frames. And so this is what it looks like when you chop it 4 inches. And this is how much the roof actually grows. It does need to stretch that much. So what's gonna happen here is we're gonna cut it right here, just like it's cut over here. And then we're gonna use, theoretically, the piece that I took out of here, and we're gonna fill it in over here to lengthen that to get to that.
Yeah.
So now the idea is that we'll use that leftover piece from down there, fill in this. Now I just got to take some measurements to make sure that that's the right size. It should be the same as this piece here, which is 3.5 inches, but it isn't. We're gonna have to see what's gonna happen to that. Keep going, we'll try a piece and then we'll go match it up, see where we're at. I ain't too proud to admit when I screw up, so I have no idea how I screwed up, but that is short right there. Wasn't supposed to be. I took out exactly 4 inches, which is what the chop is. Don't know why it's not fitting, so this is just a leftover from some other cut. That may fit there, may not. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do some of that. And then this is fine. I knew that needed to be lengthened there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this piece in. And I decided that it's better to just mount it to the frame. That way it's gonna match exactly what it needs to match instead of trying to build it on the table back there, because it doesn't have nothing square on it. It's all round and, you know, slopes and things. So I'm just gonna build it so that it fits right onto where it's gonna end up living, which will be right there. So That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the stuff that you cut out of the chop, you have stuff left over that matches exactly. So look at this though. This is cool. This is worth checking out. That's just a pencil mark from me, but forget the pencil mark. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but this is wider right here, and then it gets narrower. That's actually not supposed to be that way. That's just where the factory welded it together, 2 pieces stamped. And this was actually right there. So that's what it looked like back in 1949. That was the quality, you know, finish. So that's what we're working with on this car to begin with. So just nothing's exactly square, and that makes it fun. Makes it more fun. Well, it was kind of a light day today, and we had some bad news. The guy that I was hoping can do our interior panels won't be able to take this project on, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. But we did get some done today. So this frame we did last week, and this is what we got done today. We matched the front frame, did the little chopping, messed up here, so I had to do a little filler, unfortunately, but that's correct there, that's correct there. Had to pie it here, and it fits on really nicely. Liking how this actually matches up. Nice gap right there. And we'll actually be able to use the stock mounts, the bolt, the screws on it to hold it up. So we have one side mocked up, you know, tacked together, and now it's going to be a lot easier to move to the other side and get those 2 sides done. We mounted the trunk on the car last week, and we realized that the rear quarter panels have walked, and our gap for the trunk is not matching right. We did have the camera guy short on crew today. Jim did show up though and gave us a little bit of a hand, so thanks, Jim. But anyway, Connor ended up drilling out the spot welds on the rear panel there for the trunk, and we're gonna try to put a come along on it next week, try to pull that back in. So I guess the theme is, you know, just gonna keep with the theme of, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and, you know, but the good news is we're still moving forward on every step, we end up 1 step forward, okay? All right, so we're gonna go and have a little barbecue at the house and relax. We're gonna get the new tire mounted next week. We'll throw that front wheel on. We'll be able to start clearancing out stuff around it so that wheel can turn. Thank you guys. We broke the 1,000 subscribers mark like a week ago. That was really cool. So please subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Leave us comments. I do read those comments. I try to answer as much as I can. And you know, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. We're at Maniacs Garage. And we do have another little side page. It's Maniacs Garage Builds on Instagram, and that's where we're trying to post some of the behind the scenes stuff on this car, on the build. So check that out. See you guys next week. Happy 4th of July.